Later today, we're going to release our bracketology, at least my bracketology portion. You're going to weigh in on your thoughts. Listen, it switches every night going forward. And the switch is so big because teams upon other districts rely on, for example, Rio Rancho's loss, Albuquerque High benefits from that based on seeding. We'll tell you exactly why, but you can check out our bracket a little bit later. We'll talk about it in 3 and Out, and we'll also talk about some of the bubble teams that are hanging around, right?
Yeah, this is one of those things going to change. You and I walking into the studio, we're talking about how big of a change is going to be just after last night. Last night alone, now you have a Rio Rancho team who was comfortable at everyone arguing, saying they're number 2 seed, a good chance of it. Now sitting
not after that loss,
had a chance at being below Volcano Vista, which it means a big deal. And we'll break it down, as you mentioned, in bracketology because of the Volcano Vista's overall record. Also, it's not that strong. They're starting to get some wins under it, but that's a 7-loss team. So you figuring they're not going to be that high. So where would Rio Rancho fall?
It's going to be interesting.
Craziness.
Exactly. So we'll tell you what we're thinking a little bit later on bracketology. A big shout out to Suits Unlimited, Charles, as they provide our daily wardrobe here. They hook us up, make us look decent. They'll make you look decent as well. Go visit them off of Manal past San Mateo, just right across the street from BIOS.
Yeah, you go say what's up to Daryl. That's my guy. The entire Garcia family. As I keep saying, prom is right around the corner, fellas. Make sure you get that tuxedo. You can go in there never too early. Go.
You think we can
check
get
out that
Suits
selection.
Unlimited to hook up our guy in the background, Paul?
They even can make Paul look good.
Man,
Paul,
if you could only see him on a daily basis.
We got to stop picking on Paul. At least he's not wearing that ridiculous Seahawks beanie today.
He's got a Seattle Supersonic hat on.
Oh, okay, so my question to you. Okay, my question to you, because we've been debating. You know, I'm a big Bulldog guy. You're a big Rams guy. Top players in this city, and we put it together a little chart. It's only 5 guys, but I mean, you and I agree. There could be a list of 8 or 9 guys on that list. These are just the guys that we feel playing real hot right now, and they make that list. How hard is it to pick these guys?
It's difficult, and I'll tell you what. You mentioned your Bulldogs. Well, there's 2 guys on there that could easily make this list. Difficult to kind of choose either one over the other as well. So Alonzo Armijo and Gabe Baum, by the way, both juniors. Yes. So they're coming back for a senior season, both playing very well. Left off this list of 5, but very easily could be interchangeable, at least with who we decided to go with at 5.
Well, yeah, they're leading their team right now, 18 wins, 3 losses, struggling as of late, but both guys are averaging well above 16, 17 points a game. But the guys who made that
said it
list,
best, they kind of go unnoticed as the Bulldogs have as well.
But hey, if you want respect, you got to go out there and you get it. It's a long season. They're going to have a chance to do it. How big, though, was Cormier last night? And we're going to touch on it, but it's going to go by so quick. I want to tell people they need to pay attention to this kid.
David Cormier. I've watched him play. I never saw him play the way he did against Rio Rancho, but he was dominant on the low post. Very athletic. When we get you those highlights tomorrow, super athletic. He was throwing down dunks all over the place, putbacks, big body on the inside, and soft hands. You like to say buttery hands, Liddell. This guy, a little bit more physical than Liddell and can finish around the rim. So David Cormier, congratulations, had a monster night last night. Let's get to our top 5 here, Charles, and we'll start it off with number 5 on the list. And this is my guy. I like the way he plays. I think he could go inside, outside, but Drew Wasani having a fantastic season. His spot-up three-pointer is just about as good as anybody in the state.
Yeah, I agree. He's one of those guys where if you let him just spot up, as you mentioned, he's going to knock it down. You got to really force him off the line. But a knockdown shooter, not just that, he's so creative, Adam. He can create off the dribble. You're going to just see with the highlights his jump shot, but he can take you, step back. He's a big frame, so he's a tough matchup for a smaller guard right here. Cole Perez, a great defender. Nice knockdown, step back, three-pointer right there. I have no problem with Wasani being at number 5 because he's doing it.
At times, I think it's the way the offense kind of works for West Mesa. He's been in foul trouble a lot because he's only one of the only bigger kind of guys.
The bigs a lot of time.
He's got to go down low a little bit and bang with the big boys. But Drew Wasani, I think, is deserving of this. You saw a bunch of splashes from deep, right? But the kid could drive to the hole. I love it when they get him on the block and he could turn around and knock down a 10-footer. Very good. Drew Wasani dominating this season.
And I agree with what you're saying. The type of offense West Mesa run, you have 4 guards trying to figure out how to get the ball, who's going to get shots or whatnot. But I think when they're in need of a bucket, you know who they're going to. They're looking for Drew every time. Matter of fact, that Albuquerque High game, they made sure to find him, get him some buckets. The game against Carlsbad, he had a big-time game against Carlsbad. He made some big buckets as of late for West Mesa to pull off that upset against Carlsbad. So the kid's a nightmare to match up with, as I mentioned. Big enough to post up, but then quick enough to take guys off the bounce, and has a nice jumper.
Here's my question to you, Charles, before we reveal number 4. Who can we get on that list here in the metro area in the 6A world? Now, I know in the 5A world we can look down and get definitely Carlos Delgado, who's been fantastic
easily
with Del Norte. But who else might slide in this list that we're not looking at?
Well, guys like the Jacob McNeelys, and I'll tell you why I like McNeely. He's not just a knockdown three-point shooter. The kid is a lights-out defender. You have guys like that.
Did a great job against Brady Patterson last night.
You can argue that Liddell is just as valuable as a Christian Cunningham or whatnot. Liddell makes a lot of the plays go. When they're running their high-low action, he's facilitating that action. Caleb Roden, Dylan Abbott, 2 bigs that are having breakout second half of the season type performances. So it's hard picking just 5.
We've just been going on consistency from the season. So let's get to number 4, and a guy who could very well be at number 1 on the inside, low block. That's Marcus Williams. Charles, you and I argue about what kind of player he is. He's both. He can go low block. He gets those rebounds, offensive rebounding machine, defensive rebounding machine, but he could do this right here. Williams could size you up and take you to the hole, finish it. Look at that crowd. Marcus Williams, though, is dominant.
Yeah, he's a guy where, as you mentioned, you and I went back and forth trying to figure out if he's a post, is he a wing? You were arguing he's a big. I was arguing he's a wing.
In New Mexico,
I think he demonstrated the last game, particularly against Rio Rancho, that he can handle the ball. And the way that the offense is structured with Cleveland, he doesn't handle the rock a whole lot in the perimeter, but he can definitely dribble the ball. I like his game. He's only going to get better. He's only a junior. Once that jump shot develops, I don't know if anyone out here can guard him because he's a beast down low.
This is to tie it, to put it in overtime here. It shows you he's got the clutch gene as well.
Down low.
Go to Marcus Williams more often, and you're going to be successful, Cleveland. I promise that.
I agree. And you know what? You were asking me about players who we left off the list. And I wouldn't say left off. As you mentioned, these are guys that consistently came through and we have them on our list. I like Devin Peace. I like Deshaun Lucero. These are guys where
we thought about
night
Deshaun
in, night
Lucero
out,
too.
They come in, they put up some points, and they are the reason that their teams are performing at a higher level and have a chance to make a run at state.
Well, listen, one guy you mentioned, McNeely, was not on the list. Had a poor offensive night last night, but his defense against Brady Patterson, fantastic. Tough to choose a top 5, but we'll continue through it. We got the top 3 coming up next here, and then bracketology a little bit later. You're not going to want to miss that. uSports Central. Happy Wednesday.